Well, I don't know where you begin with that game, but 4-4 was a result in which Manchester United should have won the game. I think it's an absolute head loss. I think the performance by the team was embarrassing, and to get a 4-4 result out of that game, which United dominated for large parts of it, would be particularly embarrassing by Ruben Amorim. Now, again, at least it's 1 point, and the Old Trafford record is still intact. But the fact that Manchester United got conceded 4 goals. Yes, we scored four, and that was always going to be the positive out of it. But the goals we conceded as well, the state of the goals were just very, very poor. And I don't even know. We start from the start of the game. I thought Manchester United did very, very well. You get the early goal from Ahmad. Great bit of play. I mean, that first half an hour was probably the best half an hour I've seen United play in a very, very long time. It was flowing football, high press, energy, tempo, Cunha, Mount, and Burma, Bruno, Ahmad, all looking very, very fluid. Casemiro was popping in and putting in some very, very good shifts. And that last 15 minutes of that second half, it kind of does go a bit downhill after that. Bournemouth start getting their foothold into the game. And then it goes 1-1, and then obviously Casemiro scores that goal, which another set piece goal that takes United to the most set piece goals now scored in the league. Just before half time, and you thought going into half time, United come out, played the same way that you played in that first half, but absolutely not. They come out in the 46th minute, literally 40 seconds in. Evan Nilsson scores, who hasn't scored by the way since August, I think. Then you have Semenyo, who hasn't scored since October, who gets another goal. And that Semenyo goal is the more frustrating one because it's poor from Luke Shaw. He gets bars out the way. Yes, Aiden Heaven should come across. But again, I think the one thing that Ruben Amorim is going to get criticised on would probably be the defensive structure in this game. I think their attack was very fluid. Even when Sesko and Xerxes and Mainu came on, I think their attack was fine. It was the defence. And I think we're missing Delit, we're missing Maguire. Masraoui now has gone to AFCON. We are missing a real senior figure in that defence. Now, hopefully, Martinez comes back and plays our next game against Villa. But yeah, anyway, that Semenyo goal was pretty poor. Then you have the Evan Nilsson goal, very sloppy as well. It's on a transition, and that's where United conceded most of their goals from. It was a great bit of play from Tavernier, great ball into Evan Nilsson, and a great finish. But again, United not quick enough to close him down. Then the third goal, obviously, you never know if they were going to score, but they were in a very promising position. Casemiro takes him down. They score a free kick, but then I thought United did very well after that. That Bruno Fernandes goal was absolutely world class. Genuinely, probably the best goal I've seen in a very, very long time. And especially this season, it was absolutely wicked. That free kick was top class to get it right into that top corner. And then you have that Cunha goal as well, which again was a great bit of play. And then capitulation again, 4-4. So yeah, listen, I think the one weakness again was the defence in this game. I think we definitely did see a change in formation. I think Ahmad was really tucking into that midfield, kind of making it a front three with Casemiro and Bruno at times. Again, that is the problem when you play Casemiro and Bruno in the midfield too, that overlapping, that ability to get caught out on the transition many a times, and that happened again today. So I think that was a big, big problem. The fact that United players keep getting caught on the transition, especially in midfield, was a huge problem. But I thought a lot of positives were the fact that we scored goals. I mean, that Bruno goal was wicked, but the way in which we lost it, that's another 3 points that you would say were definitely there for the taking. That was a 3-0. By half time, it should have been 3-0. Game should have been done. Second half, it's just sloppy by United, and it's just not good enough. With 2-1 going into half time, it was embarrassing. In terms of positives, listen, Bruno Fernandes scores a wicked goal, a great free kick. I think only Erling Haaland now has more goal contributions than him this season, which again is fantastic on a personal note, and I thought he had a very good game as well. But ultimately, capitulation by the team. I think Le Mans made some very good saves at the end as well to keep Manchester United in the game, actually, because if that's Onana, I genuinely think there's 3 goals in there. So he made some very, very good saves. Um, I think the attack was brilliant, but the defense is probably the thing letting us down. It was definitely the most entertaining game I've seen this season. I think if we're looking at Ruben Amorim in this game, um, he got the subs right, bringing on Mainu in the way that he did. 61st minute was very, very good. I think Mainu had a very calming presence on the game. He was very calm, composed on the ball. Made some very good passes, interchanging with Cunha. I thought Cunha was brilliant as well throughout the game. And Burmo Struggled to probably get in the game as much you would hope him to, but again, he was still popping about. Should have scored as well, to be fair, in Bournemouth. That one chance where kind of deflects off Alex Scott straight into Mbeumo's feet, should have scored. Again, he had a few half chances as well. Bruno at the end as well. So there were opportunities for United to win the game in that first half. As I said, there should have been 3 or 4 goals for United. Le Mans, as I said, keeps that half-time record at the end. Cunha was fantastic. I thought Dalot, again, someone as a player who's got a lot of criticism recently, had another great performance. I thought had a big part to play in that first goal. Probably will get credited with the assist, but you look at that, both wing backs or both left back, right in the spot where you need them to. Ahmad scores the goal, but it's another great cross by Dalot. Defence was a mess. I just don't think there's no organisation, and I think you're missing De Ligt. It's huge. We don't know when he's going to be back. Don't know when Mazraoui's back. Or obviously after AFCON, we don't know when Maguire's back. Obviously, Aston Villa next week, they're unbeaten in 9. No Casemiro in that game is going to be a huge loss. Does he trust Manu in a game like this? Does he go with Ugarte? Probably, but that's going to be a problem. Midfield out of possession is probably a concern, because it does get bypassed quite a bit. In possession is very good, it's fluid, players dropping deep. Entertainment, attacking football. Considering United went 3-2 down, I think there was a lot of fight shown to get it back to 4-4. But again, West Ham, Everton, and now Bournemouth. That's 12 points dropped. And you look at where that would have taken Manchester United, we would have been maybe a few points off the top. But again, football's down to fine margins. And what a game it was for the neutral. I mean, it was good to watch, and there's so much excited football in it. But again, you can see Bruno after the final whistle was frustrating. Amorim said there were a lot of good things, but a lot of good things we need to work on. We're losing a lot of games because of the details, not the system, not the formation, but the details. And it was the minor details today. I mean, Bournemouth just scored goals in transition. That's all really it was. They didn't really offer much going forward. And Bruno, very frustrated after the game because he had a performance worthy of a win. I think he was all action midfielder. A great goal. So yeah, it was probably the best game of the season by far. 4-4, great bit of play by Bruno. I don't know why we can't control a game for 90 minutes and get the win over the line, because that game United should have won. But yeah, let's talk about this as well. I mean, the fact that wasn't a red. I mean, if Dalot goes down, that's probably a red. That's on Casemiro. He's 100% getting sent off. There's no way he's staying on the pitch. Straight review, straight red card. Here, Casemiro again gets another goal. He's got a lot of goals and assists since coming to the club, but again, you do see the downside when you do play Casemiro. And again, I think we are missing a leader at the back, and that would be a big problem. But all in all, 4 goals scored, 4 points at 4 goals at Old Trafford. Again, it's another opportunity missed. All the rivals have won. We go to a very tricky game next week against Aston Villa with no Ahmad, no Mbeumo, no Mazraoui, no Casemiro. It's going to be a very tricky game to get a result there, and this was a perfect opportunity before they go to AFCON to get some points. But it's short-term disappointment that we won the 3 points. But if you watch the game, it was so much positive from it, and it kind of reminds me of, I don't want to mention Ten Hag, but Ten Hag against Spurs. I think of 22-23, we had a very good game. It was around this period as well, and it was an absolute world-class game. But yeah, I think Manu, when he came on, was fantastic. I thought Sesko added a bit of light, a bit of energy, but all in all, we're very frustrated with the fact that United cannot hold on to a game. There's no intensity, there's no impetus from the team. In terms of holding on to the win, I think we showed in a fight. 4 goals should be enough to win any game, but it's the fact that we score. The fact is the amount of goals we're conceding. Yes, we have a now positive 4 goal difference, and that's what takes us on joint points with Liverpool. But ultimately, look at how, yes, it's not a defeat, and that's unbeaten in 10 games now. But this should have been a win. Again, the next few games coming up are going to be tricky, but again, there's positives to take. I thought the front line, Casemiro, Bruno, Mbeumo, Cunha, Mount, Sesko when he came on, Manu when he came on, were very good. I'm just worried about that defence, especially against Aston Villa side. Hoping De Ligt's back or Maguire's back or someone's back for that game. maybe put Martinez in the middle to add a bit more security. But there were some poor points. I mean, the goal from Semenyo was a great goal, but it's poor defending. I think the Krupi Junior goal as well is definitely preventable. Listen, it's a good free kick. Maybe Lamond is to blame for that, but all in all, it was very disappointing. Let me know your thoughts.